Susan Lee is the member for Farrer seeking to be re-elected. How is the campaign going so far, Susan?
Well, it's fantastic to be out of Parliament House and on the road, which is one of the great things about every campaign. And it gives me a chance not just to talk to people, but to actually listen really carefully to what they have to say and hear what their priorities are, and obviously explain why I think we'd be way better off with a Morrison coalition government after May the 21st.
And what are people saying just generally about the campaign so far? Are they raising these local issues with you, or are they expressing views about just the general conduct of the campaign and how they're feeling about politics at the moment?
Campaigns are very local, and people, yes, to varying degrees tune into the national campaign, and some people are political junkies and some people are turned right off by that. But everyone has a local perspective, and that's what I want to hear, and that's what matters to them in their daily lives, and that's what matters to me most of all. So, look, there's a bit of both in terms of national and local, but obviously local is just, it's really important for all of us.
Yeah, and one of those local frustrations that comes up all over regional Australia is when your mobile signal drops out. It's so important for farming operations now, hearing that from commodity groups. So what's your focus in terms of improving mobile coverage in the electorate of Farrer?
Totally, it is vital, and what a lot of people don't understand is that farmers, people who do value add in agriculture, who are out in the paddock soil testing, sowing at the moment, perhaps canola or early wheat varieties, they're in touch not just with their commodities broker and their farm machinery people. They're actually monitoring their whole operation using technology, and that's what gives us the edge. So we have to get it right, and it's not right yet. In the budget, we had $800 million towards new mobile phone towers across Australia. I spoke with the Communications Minister last week, and I feel reassured that a lot of that money will land in my area where along our, some of our major roads, we have, blackspots. It's just unacceptable. I drive them all the time, so I know them, but I don't live in these areas 100% of the time, and the frustration that people express is really quite profound, and I'm glad that we can address that.
All right, you've mentioned also two other priorities as you kicked off the campaign. Let's just talk about the Murray-Darling Basin Plan. You've said you want a plan that's the right one for all of us. What's your focus in the seat of Farrer? And you are also the Environment and Water... Well, no, you're not the Water Minister, that's Keith Pitt. You are the Environment Minister.
The first basin plan was all about recovering water. Much of that was done under Labor, and it was devastating to rural communities because for example, the Murray irrigation area where I am now, towards Corowa and quite close to Albury, we lost 20% of our water, and that was unacceptable. The next basin plan, which is due to start in 2024, has to be about delivering water better, recognising the value that productive irrigated agriculture creates, the value it creates for all of us locally, but also for the nation as a whole. And so I've spoken to the Water Minister, and if we're back after May 21, we want to make that a very early priority, making sure we get that next basin plan right. And I'm optimistic we can also partner with the environment, as we have done in some of our areas, by using environmental water to help deliver agricultural water and therefore providing revenue to the irrigation service, but also saving on the cost of conveyance of that water. So there's some good partnerships that work both for agriculture and the environment.
The hot topic in the basin has been, it would seem, this 450 gigalitre pledge or re-announcement that Labor has made. What is your position on that 450 gigalitres being delivered to South Australia?
Everyone knows that the 450 gig promise under Labor is simply a buyback because it can't be done any other way, and they effectively are turning their back on every single farmer in the basin. Now, I don't know who the Labor candidate running in the seat of Farrer is at the next election. No one has put their hand up. And I have a fairly good idea why, because for someone to put their hand up in this seat and actually sell their Labor Party policy would be inexcusable and unacceptable to everybody. So, it just shows how awful that 450 policy is. Yes, we, as a coalition, understand the 450 gigs, but we've got tight controls around it, which mean it has to be socially and economically acceptable to individuals and to communities, and it can't take them backwards. And that's so different from Labor's buyback policy.
And it would seem that under the New South Wales government, there is some challenge for the state government reaching its current water savings targets, and then that does activate, doesn't it, by 2024, the possibility of buybacks happening in the basin?
Look, people have raised this. They've raised this with the Water Minister when I've been travelling with him. But every single time he has said no more buybacks. And every single time, I think the people listening have felt that confidence. So don't worry, we'll stand by that. No more buybacks.
All right, look, health has been a huge topic during the last couple of years with the COVID-19 pandemic and related restrictions. But what has that highlighted when it comes to our rural and regional health services in Farrer?
We gave the states significant extra funding to cope with COVID, and there was pretty much no strings attached to that. Now, the COVID pandemic didn't result in quite the number of hospitalisations that people expected, and thank goodness for that. The border closures were tough enough. But I guess what that told me was maybe the states haven't quite got it right when it comes to regional health delivery. Look, I appreciate all the steps they've taken, but more does need to be done. Now, I'm not here to point the finger at any other level of government other than to say that from the Commonwealth point of view, we've got new measures that will encourage junior doctors and rural generalists and other specialists to come and practice in regional areas. And, you know, that I expect will ramp up over the course of the campaign in terms of what we're able to do and explaining it in different areas. And it's really, really important that you get the right primary care, which is effectively general practice, to work with the hospital system. So we rely on both being strong.
See, I imagine when it comes to rural and regional health services, and we've heard across, even in our electorate of Farrer, some shortages when it comes to, I guess, nursing staff, for instance. All you can really do is deal with the sort of future workforce in terms of making sure there's enough of them when it comes to university training and maybe even bringing people in from overseas. But you're saying it's largely a state responsibility managing that staffing right now.
It's totally a state responsibility, and I understand when I talk to people that, you know, they want things fixed, but, you know, workforce is critical, and we can help with the general practice workforce, with training specialists in regional areas, and in funding a lot of that placement, particularly in the early years of medical practice, where if doctors come to a region, they're more likely to stay there. Later on in their careers, they will only ever visit and go back to the city. And, you know, we're doing more and more to get that right. And look, I'm looking at the increasing dollars that are handed out to state governments under our health and hospital agreement. And, you know, I'm very proud of the investment that the Commonwealth makes, but ultimately we give that money to the states and they decide how to spend it.
All right, Susan Lee, plenty of miles to cover, not only in terms of policy, but for yourself in Farrer till the 21 May election day. All the best. We'll catch up with you again soon.
Thanks so much, and I love those miles, every single one of them.